Hello, I'm Dominus Rael. When I was a kid, I learned that a gentle straight boy can be harder for people to imagine than a gay one. I had a lot of female friends. I was nice to girls. I was not trying to make dating my entire personality. I was not acting like some cartoon version of a toxic teenage guy. And somehow, that made people decide I must be gay. Girls would ship me with gay students. They would send single gay guys over to ask me out. They wanted me to become gay to fit their narrative. I remember another guy at school who did end up dating a guy. Girls would circle around him and his boyfriend while waiting for the bus, chanting, "Kiss, kiss, kiss." And when they did, everyone screamed like they had unlocked an achievement. They wanted that for me too. The issue was not gayness. The issue was the narrowness. People seemed more comfortable imagining me as gay than imagining me as a gentle straight guy. That teaches a young man something. If you are aggressive, you are toxic. If you are gentle, you must be gay. If you pursue a woman, you are creepy. If you do not pursue, you disappear. And somewhere in the middle of that, normal romance starts to feel like a trap. Culture says it wants better men, then treats gentle masculinity like it cannot be romantic. Culture says it empowers women, then quietly teaches them that wanting a man is weakness in disguise. So apparently, we have to state the obvious. Straight women exist. Women who like men exist. Women who want romance, marriage, flirting, longing, butterflies, masculine heroes, and the love of a man they actually desire do in fact exist. Modern nerd culture has developed a strange habit. Every time a female character gets updated for modern audiences, one of the first things people brag about is what she does not need. Not saved by a man, not dreaming about true love, not focused on romance, not defined by a love interest, not needing a prince, not needing a boyfriend, not needing anybody. At first, that sounds like variety. After a while, it starts to sound like shame. Like Hollywood is embarrassed by women liking men. The current example is Supergirl. During press for the new Supergirl movie, Millie Alcock talked about how beautiful it is that Kara's story is not centered around a man, not centered around love, and not centered around romance. She also joked that Kara would probably go both ways. The interesting part is not the queer reading. Comic book characters have had alternate versions, alternate timelines, and fan interpretations forever. The interesting part is the sales pitch. Once again, modern female heroism is framed by subtraction. She is deeper because she is not centered around a man. She is more mature because romance is not the point. She is modern because love has been moved out of the center. Why is that treated like growth? Love is not weakness. Romance is not oppression. A woman wanting a man does not mean she has no agency. Sometimes it means she is a woman attracted to a man. We saw the same instinct with Snow White. Rachel Zegler's comments became infamous because she described the original as being from 1937, said this Snow White would not be saved by the prince, would not be dreaming about true love, and joked about the prince being a stalker. The original Snow White is old. The romance is simple. The prince barely has a personality beyond handsome man arrives with a looks-max or jawline and wedding destiny. There are updates you can make. But the way it was marketed was revealing. It was not simply, we are giving Snow White more agency. It became, she is not dreaming about true love, as if true love is embarrassing, as if wanting romance is something a modern woman must outgrow, as if the only way to make a princess strong is to prove she is definitely not waiting around for a man. That is not depth. That is a different cliche. The old cliche was, a woman is only complete if a prince saves her. The new cliche is, a woman is only empowered if she loudly does not need one. Both are too small. A woman can want love and still be brave. A woman can be rescued sometimes and still matter. A woman can rescue the man too. A woman can lead a kingdom, fight a dragon, chase a dream, and still want someone to come home to. The problem was never romance. The problem was lazy romance. The problem was never women loving men. The problem was a woman being written like furniture until a man arrived. So fix the writing. Do not treat the entire category of male-female romance like it is contaminated. And you could feel the same hierarchy around the Acolyte and Agatha All Along. Not because Star Wars can never have queer characters. A galaxy with space wizards, fish admirals, frog monks, tentacle gangsters, and laser swords can survive a lesbian character. The issue is the way these franchises started talking about representation like it was a trophy system. The Acolyte had press joking about being the gayest Star Wars show. Agatha All Along had press celebrating itself as maybe the gayest Marvel project ever made. And after a while, it started to feel like Marvel and Star Wars were competing to prove which legacy franchise could be the least traditionally straight. Not just inclusive, not just open, not just willing to tell different kinds of stories, but proud of how they had moved away from the old romantic imagination, as if the absence of straight romance was itself a sign of artistic courage, as if no straight love here made the story deeper before the story had even done anything. And that is the pattern I'm talking about. Queer characters are not the problem. The hierarchy is the problem. When every kind of desire gets treated as brave except a woman wanting a good man, that is not liberation. That is a new approved script. And somehow, legacy nerd culture keeps mistaking that script for depth. Hollywood keeps claiming it is expanding representation, but too often it trades one narrow script for another. The old script said a woman needed a man to matter. The new script says she needs to reject needing him to prove she matters. Both still define her by the man. One by dependence, the other by defiance. That is why the modern heroine template wears thin. Strong, messy, independent, emotionally guarded, above traditional romance. Definitely not like those old female characters. A template is still a template even when it calls itself progress. A warrior can want a husband. A princess can want a mission. A queen can need help. A wife can be formidable. A woman can desire love without becoming smaller. That is variety. Not one approved model of liberation stamped onto every heroine until all of them sound like the same press release. Real women absorb these stories. The girl who wants love, the girl who dreams about marriage, the girl who wants to be cherished, pursued, protected, desired, and loved by a good man. She keeps hearing that needing nobody is the highest form of womanhood. But needing nobody is not always strength. Sometimes it is loneliness with better marketing. Sometimes it is trauma with a cape. Sometimes it is a new cage built by people so afraid of old ones that they never noticed the bars. Men absorb it too. Finding a good woman who actually wants the kind of love I want feels harder than ever. Dating feels broken. Women are taught to guard themselves from male attention. Men are told to make the first move without ever making anyone uncomfortable. Be confident, but do not pressure her. Be direct, but do not make things awkward. Pursue her, but understand that if she feels uncomfortable, your reputation may take the hit. In places like work, church, or tight social communities, asking someone out does not feel like a small human risk anymore. It feels like a high-stakes social gamble. I do not want to treat women like targets. I do not want to pressure women. I do not want to make a woman feel unsafe. But I also do not want to live in a world where a good man is afraid to ask a good woman to coffee because normal romantic pursuit has been rebranded as a threat. So men retreat. Women wait. Everyone hopes someone else will be brave enough to risk being misunderstood. Stories cannot fix all of that, but stories teach us what is allowed to be beautiful. And too many modern stories teach women that wanting a man is embarrassing, while too much modern discourse teaches men that wanting a woman is dangerous. I want better stories, not helpless dolls waiting for men to activate the plot, not untouchable icons allergic to love, women who can lead and still love. Princesses who can dream without being stupid. Superheroes who can save the world and still have a crush. Good men who can be desired without being predators. Masculinity that can be attractive without being toxic. Because the answer to bad men is not a world where women never want men. The answer to bad men is better men. And better stories about better love. My ideal romance is not a perfect princess waiting for a perfect prince. It is an imperfect man and an imperfect woman meeting while they are both still becoming better. She joins him on the path he is walking, and she pushes him to become more than he thought he could be. He does the same for her, not because either one of them is flawless, because neither of them is. A woman being loved by a man does not mean she disappears into him. A man being wanted by a woman does not mean he owns her. Real romance is partnership, sacrifice, correction, encouragement. Two people admitting, I am not perfect. I need help. I need grace. I need someone who can see what I am becoming and love me enough to walk with me there. If your idea of a modern woman always begins with what she does not need from a man, maybe you have not actually escaped from men. Maybe you are still defining her by men, but in reverse. A woman is not automatically stronger because she is alone. She is not automatically weaker because she is loved. She is not automatically modern because she rejects romance. She is not automatically outdated because she wants it. Let women be women, including the ones who like men, including the ones who dream about true love, including the ones who want a husband, including the ones who want to be strong and cherished, including the ones brave enough to admit they do not want to do life alone. The internet forgets straight women exist. Dominus Rael did not. This has been Dominus Rael, reporting live from the Department of Heteronormative Relationships. Make romance great again.